Christianity is one of the dominant religions in CARICOM. Easter, therefore, is marked by religious solemnity, fashion, food, folklore, family, and fun. CARICOM News Time spoke with staff members of the CARICOM Secretariat to find out how they celebrate Easter. What was revealed is a tapestry of spirituality and cultural practices that show the striking similarities of our Caribbean identity and the unique expressions of our differences.
In St. Lucia, 80% of our population comprise Catholics, Anglicans, Methodists, and other Pentecostal churches. So Easter begins at the beginning of Lent, which is Ash Wednesday. And during that time, people become more conscious of the religious posture. They indulge less in food and drinks. They avoid all sorts of excesses generally and eat more vegetables and fruits.
Easter in Dominica is preceded by the season of Lent. And the season of Lent is a period of 40 days, excluding Sundays. It begins on Ash Wednesday, which is the day immediately following the end of the carnival celebrations in Dominica, and it ends on Holy Thursday. During the Lenten season, the faithful are encouraged to pray more fervently and more intensely, to practice fast and abstinence, and to give alms. And by giving alms, women sharing with others, especially the less fortunate. It is also a period during which the church organizes a series of activities, including missions, retreats, and Stations of the Cross.
For us in the Bahamas, Easter, especially with us being a nation that is very into Christianity, every big percentage of our population is Christian. Easter is a big celebration and holiday for us. Some of our longest church services happen during Easter. I remember growing up as a kid, I went to an Anglican school and our Easter services were long.
I grew up in a Catholic faith. My experience is obviously very Catholic. Interesting enough, the island of Trinidad was a Spanish colony for many years. So those traditions are very much deep-rooted in our culture. It starts all on Palm Sunday, with these Palm Sunday processions. The whole reenactment of Jesus coming into this holy city. It goes in further into the week. From Holy Thursday, when we have from the start of what you call the Easter Triduum in the Catholic Church. So you have the Holy Thursday Mass, the washing of the feet, reenacted the Passover, and then you have going into the following day, Friday, which is Good Friday. Then you have the Stations of the Cross, and especially in Trinidad and Tobago, where we have so many hills, of course, you could not have done Stations of the Cross on a flat road. That's not stations. You had to experience the ruggedness and go on the walk with Jesus. So you have the Calvary Hill in Arima or other places in Trinidad. People, so there are many different areas where you can get that experience. And you really felt at the end of the day when we woke up early in the morning and you're sweating and you're going up that hill and it's like, yes, that I've done it, I felt it. And then of course the afternoon solemnity, Good Friday service in the afternoon on a Friday, where it's very solemn. And then into the Saturday, we would have the persons who either participate on Saturday or Sunday in the Catholic Church. It's Mass of the Easter Vigil and into the Mass of the Resurrection. There was a whole transition on the altars of the church, and from a very bare altar to all of a sudden this theatrical performance showing the symbol of everything's alive, Jesus is risen, and you really get that feeling out of it.
On the Good Friday, other areas of Belize would be celebrating the Good Friday with the resurrection and crucifixion of Jesus. So there will be a reenactment. There's church in the morning, and the Stations of the Cross would be displayed. Thereafter, in the afternoon, the village residents would display their sawdust carpets. Beautiful carpets with different decorations would be placed in front of the neighbors' homes. People from all over the country and even neighboring countries come to see this display.
Perhaps in Belize, more than any other CARICOM member state, the reenactment of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ is extraordinary.
In the evening, it's around 6 o'clock, when the sun is coming down, that you would get all these religious people coming in their black outfits because they're mourning the death of Jesus Christ, and they're holding his casket and walking down the street, and you hear the drums and you hear the dogs howling because it's such a sad moment. You feel it in your entire body, that it is a time to really mourn. And I think it's one of the most emotional components of the resurrection of Jesus, or the whole crucifixion element that is celebrated in Belize.
The solemnity of Good Friday gives way to a mood of celebration on Easter Sunday. This is expressed through fashion and food, as people celebrate the resurrection with dinner spreads comparable to a Christmas feast.
Many of persons believe in the fasting for 40 days based on their traditions. So of course you break fast on Easter and you start eating a very sumptuous meal on Sunday, which can include pork and beef and fish and all of the different things that we have typically in our Sunday lunch in Trinidad and Tobago, which may include macaroni pie and callaloo. But all the meats are present because yes, we have gone through that period of Easter and we have lived it, we have gone through it, and we now are now breaking our fast and enjoying that moment and that camaraderie with family and friends. A day like Christmas, Easter time is a day for family gatherings and people come around and laughters and whatnot and so on.
Easter is also a time when a lot of fruits are in season. And so there's a lot of preparation of fruit juices, jams and jellies, all kinds of food that can be developed from fresh fruit. You have a lot of that. A lot of people use that opportunity to bring out their baking and cooking skills. And there's one traditional flat biscuit called a penny piece. It's really a cinnamon biscuit that is sold around the country and consumed by most people.
Some traditional meals are served. Most Christians' families in Haiti do not eat red meat during Lent in honor of and respect for Jesus' blood that was shed for us on the cross. The traditional Holy Week salad is made of boiled eggs, beets, cabbage, carrots, and turnips. And a typical Good Friday meal in Haiti would consist of fish and rice cooked with rice beans and beets. The rice beans sauce is what is called dal in some parts of the Caribbean, particularly here in Guyana.
Another big thing in the Bahamas for us is frying fish. Of course, you have your fried snapper that you're gonna get on Easter. You're gonna have your big Easter lunch with your family, where everybody's gonna get together. And of course, throughout the entire holiday, you're gonna have your hot cross buns. I personally am not a fan of hot cross buns with raisins in them, but some people like them, some people don't. But a lot of our hot cross buns are done with raisins and stuff like that. And it's a big part. Everybody's exchanging them. Everybody has their own version and what they like.
The preparation of fish would be done, and on Good Friday we will partake of fish eating, most times with bread. There are some families who would actually use the bun and the fish as a meal. So we would enjoy the fish and the bread and the bun and cheese, and that would be the meal for the day.
One of the notable similarities which typify Easter in the Caribbean is Christianity mixed with superstition and local folklore.
Now, Easter comes with its own folklore in St. Lucia. There are some issues about placing an egg in a glass of water. And if that egg is placed towards the sun, there could be outcomes that could come from that egg being in the water. One of which is if you see whatever turns out from that egg, or whatever you can see through that egg might be happening to you in real life. For example, if you might see a coffin, it might point to a death of someone in your family or even you.
On Good Friday, nearly all stores are closed. No liquor is sold. There is no swimming, because if you swim, there's a probability that you will turn into a mermaid.
Making and flying kites are other deep-rooted traditions during the Easter holiday. Kites of all shapes, sizes, and colors adorn the skies in symbolic representation of the Christian belief that Christ is resurrected.
Another aspect of celebrating Easter in Haiti is the flying kites. It's a very popular Haitian tradition during Easter. Beautiful colored paper kites are sold in some parts of Haiti. Those children with a little money make their own kites with whatever materials they can find, such as plastic bags or tarps with sticks. Dégagé is a common local language, common saying in Haiti that means to make do with what you have. Some areas in Haiti even have kites contests with prizes for the nicest kites or those that fly the highest.
CARICOM countries are all wonderful destinations for Easter. From crab racing in Tobago to the rodeo in Lethem, there is something for everyone to do at Easter. Wherever you go and whatever you do, please be safe.